on the list, don't worry, yeah.
My speech is entitled Love at First Bite, as in B-Y-T-E, not B-I-T-E. Let me take you on a little journey back in time. This is January 2007. Outside it is hot. There's sweat pouring down my back. I'm not in England, I'm in Australia. I had just returned to Australia from England. I spent Christmas in England with my family, but it was not the best Christmas. There had been a lot of upset and illness in my family that had affected my sister, who is now fine, but that's not really part of the story. So I was back in Australia running a bed and breakfast, which for the most part was fine, but the guests were a bit miserable and annoying, mostly from England, those guests, I have to say. Anyway, I suddenly had an idea. My aunt, who I didn't get on with, but she was the one who put the idea into my head. And I'm not going to tell you what the idea was. So I got on the internet and I found the perfect match. There's two gorgeous brown eyes staring back at me. I knew that that was the one I had to have. After lots of emails backwards and forwards, we had arranged a date and time for this thing to be picked up. I made my way to Perth Domestic Airport to pick up a 9-week-old puppy. A Beagle-ear, no doubt. A Beagle-ear. You may ask yourself, why did I choose a Beagle-ear? Because, quite frankly, I like beagles and I like Cavalier King Charleses, but I knew nothing about either beagles or Cavaliers. Apart from we did have a newborn in England, and I knew beagles from Spooky might be a bit greedy. I got to the airport and eventually found where I had to pick up my dog from. I knew from the moment that I got her that I might have made a little bit of a mistake. I was waiting for a chauffeur that night. I had booked a chauffeur to take me back to Fremantle from the airport. The journey was about 50 minutes. In Australia, they don't allow dogs on buses, well, the part that I lived in anyway. So a bus and a train was not an option to me, and a taxi I thought would be not a good idea. So I booked a chauffeur, and that's how Pepper got used to life. She thought she was going to be enjoying the high life. I called her Pepper because she's got 3 colours on her, white, brown and black. And I thought to myself, quite logically actually, that Pepper does come in all these 3 colours. I got her back to the Port Mill, which is the bed and breakfast I was running. Oh, sorry, before, take slightly back. She came in a travel crate from Sydney to Perth, and she managed to escape with the flower bed. And I thought, oops, what have I done? My mum, dad and sister were in the Gambia, so they were quite annoyed from me. And they said, don't do it, Sophie. They begged me not to get her. They thought it was not going to be a good idea, but I did not listen. Once I had an idea in my head, short of wild elephants charging at me, nothing can change my mind. I lived in a bed and breakfast that had no garden, no real outdoor space. What the heck had I done? But 10 years later, Pepper is still very much in my life. She does live with my parents, however, because she barks. And I live in Christchurch. I don't know if anyone knows, you know the places in Christchurch in Millen Street, but that's where I live. And it's a very close-knit community, and I couldn't leave the dog who barked all day. So that's why I've got my parents' other dog called Belle, who is a Cavalier, and who doesn't bark, she's not a cat. But getting back to Pepper, now Pepper had a wonderful talent, apart from barking and being a good guard dog. She can actually surf. I'm not joking. Now, I feel I cheated a bit because this speech I'm talking off the cuff I did present it before a long time ago on PowerPoint, which didn't work. And on that PowerPoint there was a picture of my dog surfing in. She looks behind her and she actually surfs in. Now we have 6 dogs in the family, and I have to say I got quite jealous because the other dogs tried to copy her. And I shouldn't really be pleased, but a few of them actually got dumped a few times. So I shouldn't be pleased about, but they're not as good as Pepper. No one will ever beat Pepper. Now, as I say, Pepper is 4 weeks off her 10th birthday, and I thought it was meant to be I did fly her home. So the day came when she had to fly home, and when she used to go to kennels, which in Australia they zone it, so you have lots of space, it's not like kennels here. And she used to get picked up by this lovely woman, because I don't drive. And she used to sit in the front, so she has this front seat to herself. And she didn't even look back and say goodbye. You know, she didn't care, she was off she went and she was happy. She used to come back, up the apartment steps, straight into the sofa. She used to hide under the sofa all day. It's like, I don't really want to be home. So I arranged for her to be flown home to a really good, I thought it was like a travel agent. And unfortunately for her, the day she was picked up, she was put in the back of the van with a cat. So she was in this cage with a cat. No, sorry, she wasn't in a cage with a cat. The cat was somewhere and she was somewhere. But we managed to fly into Heathrow within 2 or 3 hours of each other. And she actually flew, I can't remember where she flew via, it was Bangkok. And I have to say I was a little bit worried from what I've heard about, yes. I don't know how true that is, but I didn't really want her to be on that night's dinner menu. But I did manage to get her home in one piece. And my mum wasn't the most dog-friendly of people at the time. She didn't really like dogs, even though we were 6 now in the family. And what does Pepper do? She goes straight up to my parents and doesn't even look at me. But we got her home that night, and I was worried that she had jet lag. I don't know why I got it into my head she could have jet lag, but I was so jet lagged myself, I had to go to bed. And she settled down in the UK perfectly. And she's a very happy, well-adjusted dog. And she's not been the most easiest of dogs, I have to say. I don't really regret getting her. Sometimes I'm asked that and I'm a bit embarrassed because I do pause and think, should I have got her? But she actually was my saviour after that horrible Christmas. Even though I spoke to my parents from Skype and all the rest of it, it was very difficult those 2 months after the Christmas. So she was, and it's true what they say, dog is a man's best friend, or a person's best friend. You are, maybe none of you are dog lovers, but to be honest, that doesn't really matter to me if I am. I care about the environment, so I will pick up the mess and all that kind of stuff. I started a petition, actually, on Facebook to get more dog bins at Hoseby because there are 13 apparently, but there aren't actually any over the head. I'm going off a bit chappic. But all I can say is I absolutely love dogs. We've got loads at home at the moment, actually. But Pepper is not the love of my life, because that sounds like I'm a weirdo. But she certainly is at the top of my priority list, and I won't be without her. And even though she's caused me a lot of stress in the past, she didn't used to come back. She made me late for my aunt's house. She made my dad sit down in the middle of a hill in a complete fit of despair because she wouldn't come back to him, and we were due at my aunt's house. She always decided to run away, make us late for this particular aunt who is Australia. For some reason, I don't know why she had a grudge against my aunt. Every time I mentioned her name, my aunt's name, my dog's tail doesn't actually wag. Even though my aunt always brought her treats, so I don't know what it's about. It's this dog in their language, isn't it, I guess. But, so that's the end of my speech, thank you. Any feedback? Positive or negative? Okay.
Sophie, I love your pace, as you were not too fast, not too slow, so that was very easy to hear. And also I know that you weren't quite well prepared for today, so that was like, you know, you just went there and did it, so that's good. Obviously you love your dogs, let's say it, you know, as it is. So very, very nice and warm story. Also, I like as you present yourself, you keep kind of distance to, you know, to yourself. You kind of, you know, make sometimes, you know, the occasional joke. So that makes, you know, people kind of warm up to you. So I like it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, I love the way you did it off the cuff and you just went with it, you know. And yes, your humour, and you would sometimes go at little tangents, but that's, I think that helped because it led, we were going with you on various little, you know. And I did like the way you mentioned about Christmas and this aunt, and you weren't going to tell us, and then you told us, you know, about the puppy, and you finished off by also saying about, you know, so you had kind of done that even though it was off the cuff. So I like it.
I really like how you took hold of the space that you're in. You didn't move around much, but actually that wasn't in any way stilted. You were very grounded and very in the space. The more comfortable you got, and I can't remember the thing you said, so I apologise for that, that made it stop happening, is when you stopped clasping your hands. So when you became comfortable enough to start describing something, you let go, and that in a way made that much freer from where we were.
I love your introduction. I was thinking, is he going to tell us about a love life, a guy? I saw some brown eyes coming up, and yeah, it was a dog. What? That was me. The suspense was excellent. I loved the introduction, and you went straight into the body, and you told us everything about the dog, characteristics, behavior, the goods and the bads, and the journey and everything. And you ended up with the bonding and what you've actually gotten from the dog. What I love most about you, Sophie, is your humor. It's just easy with you. I don't think you even think about them. They just come out. And that is beautiful. One thing I think you should improve on more is actually your body language. Yeah, you were able to use one when surfing, but I think you can always use more because when you're freer, you can fly. You've got wings, just as Tony said. So I think I want to commend you because I'm not seeing any notes around you. Well done.
I agree with Tony. Your humour is brilliant. I mean, self-inflicted humour, like I think it's Amanda, the comedian.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got that sort of humour, natural. And so, I would suggest what might help you is more pauses and take a deeper breath. Yeah, and that will help to relax you a bit more.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but your voice is certainly becoming more. Every time I hear you speak, your voice is becoming more confident.
Okay. Well,
And it is carrying to the back as well, which is really good.
Thank you.
Thanks. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So who is this? Me?
This is you.
Good night, everyone. My speech is called A Simple Way to Achieve Your Goals. And I just would like to know, has everyone here ever had a goal that you saw it was impossible to achieve, that you saw it was too difficult, and you finally achieved it? Anyone happened? Yeah? And what happened when you achieved it? Did you just decide that you wanted a bigger goal? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
No? You were happy with it and just stay there?
Yeah.
Well, for most people, most of us want bigger, better, and more. And that's completely normal. That's how we are designed to be. That's our nature. And that's because we have the choice the choice to grow. Jim Rohn says that we human beings are the only species in the planet that doesn't grow to its maximum potential. And why is that? Why? Because it says, how much does a tree grow? A tree grow. How much does a tree grow? It grows as much as it can. How much honey does a bee gather? As much as it can. But those, we can just decide to be at home, watch television, eat sugar, and let go, and just be complacent with whatever we have. I know I've been there, I know different than you. I had massive dreams, massive moments of laziness and self-complacent. So that's why, at the moment that I found this book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, the concept of constant improvement really hit me. It hit me at such a deep level that a year and a half later, after a year and a half of wanting to do it, I got this tattoo because I wanted to engrave it in my skin. So basically, this tattoo means Kaizen, and Kaizen is a Japanese concept that means constant development. And it can be constant development in any area, but for me, it means mind, body, and soul. So today I want to tell you a simple way to achieve your goals. And for that, we will need, there are 4 steps, or there are the first 4 things I can give you tonight. And one of them is, exponential growth. So could you please repeat after me, exponential growth?
Exponential growth.
Fantastic. The second one is compound effect. Can you please repeat, compound effect?
Compound effects.
Great. The third one is one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Fantastic. And number 4 is make it easy.
Make it easy.
Great. So, exponential growth. Why exponential growth? It is important to remember the power that exponential growth have. So basically, if you improve 1% today, you need to think that tomorrow you will be 101% better. But over time, as well as compound effect, it will keep growing. So it will be a point. So tomorrow, it will be, you will improve 1% of 101%, not 100%. And the next after that, you will improve 100% of 102.04%. And that will keep growing over the years. And you will be improving 1% of a million. 1% of a million is 10,000. It's not 1 anymore. So in this sense, if you see it as a graphic, it will look something like that. And suddenly it will come. So that's why most people, they underestimate what they can do in a year. No, the other way. They overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5. And the reason is because at the beginning, the process seems to be very slow. But once you get momentum, the growth gets so big that you wouldn't believe it. And that just ties itself with compound effect, because that's the compound effect as well. If I give you double of the amount of money you have, and you have 25 pennies, that will look like nothing. But if you put it over the years, tomorrow will be 50 pennies, and then it will be 1 pound, and then it will be 2 pounds, and then it will be 4, and 8, and 32. And it will keep growing to a moment that it will be 1 billion. And from 1 billion, you will jump to 2 billion. And that's the importance of compound effect. So our search, or the search recommendation, the search suggestion will be 1 step at a time. And the reason is because we're very eager to achieve what we want, and we want to change the world in 1 day. And this is going to sound cheesy and repetitive, but Rome wasn't built in 1 day. So it is important to take 1 step at a time. 1 minute today in the running instead of an hour. Maybe 1 new habit today, or 1 less bad meal. So instead of deciding, oh, I want to be 20 kilos less tomorrow, think, well, you know what? Today, instead of eating 5 chocolate, I will try to eat 3. And tomorrow, I will try to have more vegetables. And with this, I will tie as well the fact of make it easy. Make it as easy as it is for you to follow your steps. Because we all have our weak points. So if you know that you are disorganized and you cannot do anything about it and it really drives you crazy, maybe get someone to help you out to organize your stuff. Or if you know that you are terrible at saving and you just love rushing through the mall and spend all your money, well, create an standing order. So as soon as your money comes in, part of it is already taken to your saving account and you don't even see it. If you know that you have problems with chocolate, that's me, don't have it at home. I mean, if you want to lose weight, why would you have the temptation there speaking to you every day like, eat me, eat me, eat me? Just don't have it, get rid of it, give it to your friends. So these are some ways in how you can become who you want to become and achieve your goals. Because people usually look at success as if it was something overnight, but they don't look at the 10 years of preparation that was behind that. And on the same term, if we think of, speaking of compound effect again, if we think the fact that in UK the average amount of time that people watch television is 4 hours per day. 4 hours per day in 60 years is 3,650 hours. That is the equivalent of 10 years.
Okay.
That's 10 years of your life. You will be a super master in at least two stuff. If you apply those 4 hours per day in something more constructive that will help you to achieve your goal. So one more, please, once more, could we repeat after me? So how do we achieve our goals? Exponential growth.
Exponential growth.
Compound effect.
Compound effects.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
And make it easy.
And make it easy.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I was looking for my notebook, but I don't know what it is. I think. Any?
I love your energy. It's like at the beginning it was just normal and then you just explode with energy and it's like, yeah, I believe that and the tattoo, so you really connect with the whole thing. And I was just thinking if it's necessary to ask the audience to repeat twice, maybe just beginning note at the end. I really don't know, but I was wondering that.
All I can say is, wow, I thought it was awesome. I love it, like you said, I love the energy. It looks so natural and so fluid and so fun, but really, really informative as well. I love the structure. I love the way you kind of tied it all up at the end. And something, I forgot your name.
Sue.
Sue. Sue mentioned earlier about congruency. You know, your message and your body language and your tone and your gestures and everything just tied in. So I thought it was brilliant. One suggestion, you sounded a bit breathy about probably 3 minutes before the end. I don't know if that's because I get excited. I don't know if you were getting excited.
Yeah, I have a cold.
Or if you want to take another breath in, I don't know. But,
I have a cold, I can't breathe. But thank you, yeah. Think of that.
I also liked that you, some of it was about delivering formula, that you were delivering, but I liked that you personalised it. So that was important for me as well, when you talked about your tattoo. So that became more something you could connect with on a personal level with you, rather than something that you were giving us from other, so I like.
Okay. Well done. You're always dramatic. You know that you started very livelily, just as you mentioned. I mean, you were just kind of excited, you were happy. And that went well until you exploded, like she and he mentioned. And the thing I want to say is please try as much as possible to reduce your numbers of R and so. I counted about, I will mention, loads. Just try to reduce it. When it comes to you trying to remember the next sentence, just pause. If you can pause, then you breathe. And you got cold like me, so you breathe with your mouth and you move on. You were a little bit pacey, I understand. At times I get that when I'm excited, but just try to reduce your amount of tension or excitement and walk along at a walking pace. You've got loads of points: audience participation, attack 2 in your hand, a book reference to Jim Rohn quotes and all that, all everything well packaged. But you used much more than the time you allocated. I do that too when I get excited. But please, because you've got loads of points, 4 points, I suggest, because of the structure of your speech, try to cut out some. They were all relevant. If it was one, it's still relevant. And again, because this is a simple way to achieve your goals, we want to hear your story. Thank you.
I was going to add, excellent. You had the structure there, which was good. The only wish I would suggest is it was a bit like a scattergun to me.
Like
A scattergun. It's sort of like you were sort of like hitting multiple targets.
Oh, yes. All right.
I think you would have been able to cut your message across better if you'd actually chosen one target. It's like how to achieve your goals, example, how to lose your weight, and use that all the way through.
All right.
Yeah, because I mean, you talked about compound effects, great. I mean, it's music to my ears. It really is. It's sort of exactly what I believe in as well. The other thing I was going to say, wish for you, because you said you wanted me to be a bit more critical, would be you started off with a nice pace at the start, and I could hear you very, very clearly. But when you got excited, it went faster and faster, and I was struggling to keep up. Comprehend. I want you to keep that energy in there, but I want you to become clearer.
Yeah. And I stopped pronouncing the words properly and I messed them up around.
Yeah. I know you got a
like
cold.
a grease straw.
Yeah, I know you got a cold. But brilliant. I mean, sort of really nice content, really sort of passionate, something you believe in, something people will, warm to you. You can't fail to like you on stage.
Yeah. Something I would just add, sorry, because we're waiting for the last speaker for the evening as well, is the points you mentioned, they are all enormous to talk about. Exponential growth is huge. Compound effect is a full topic.
Yeah.
I mean, one step at a time, wow, that's a book.
Yeah.
Make it easy, that's huge. And you were trying to squeeze all these things into just 6 to 7 minutes speech.
Yeah.
And
That's lack of preparation.
That is a big trouble. So next time, I would just suggest in the structure, tell us how you made it easy to achieve something in a story, most especially why you had that in your hand, or why you are you now. Then you take about 1 or 2 things for us to do.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much.
If I should mention, guys, please, I just want you all to give yourself a wonderful round of applause. Reason being that, clap for yourself. Go on. Okay, she's back. And I'll save this for the last. Thank you.
It's your turn.
I'm 7.
I'm 9.
You're mine,
Who is
yeah.
8?
Don't worry, it's all.
That's why I decided. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my icebreaker, and I read that I'm supposed to talk about myself, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about something that I really love, and that you can use later in your life. So this talk is about the 3 secrets to influence people, and you might think, well, that's kind of a weird topic. Why is she talking about that? Is she a little bit crazy or what? Well, yes, I am a little bit, but I also love reading. Like, I'm really passionate about reading and self-development topics. So when you were talking about compound effect and Kaizen, I really love these things. So I decided just to talk about this. So there are 3 secrets which are not really big secrets, but 3 things that you can do to really influence other people in your life. So the first one is listen first. So I really don't know why I'm getting nervous. Like, it should be like more normal. So I'm just going to ignore myself and just stop. The first one is listen first. So when you approach someone, let's say you want your boss to give you a pay rise, or maybe you want, I don't know, your partner to bring you flowers, pizza, or something. So you want to influence them, but then you start talking like crazy, like, oh, give me this, or stop doing that. Instead, you should just listen first and really understand them. The second point that you should consider, or the second secret, is talk with love. Why with love? Because we sometimes just jump to reply to anything that they say, or we start just complaining. So let's take the point of the boss. So you start saying like, oh, my bills are really high, or I need to pay my mortgage or anything. So you create like a negative environment, and the other person automatically rejects your message, because that's how the human brain works. So instead of that, instead of talking about the problem, what you should do is talk about the solution. So the solution or the future of the possibilities could be, for example, with your boyfriend or with your partner. You could be talking about doing something really interesting that both of them love, or maybe just make them feel really special and really important. I mean, if you are asking someone in your life, your children or your parents, to do something different, it's because they are really important in your life. So we should start by saying how much we care about them and how important they are in our life, instead of just trying to change their behavior. So the second one is talk with love. Always put positive things first. So if I'm going to say, if I'm thinking in my mind, oh, he's really good, I love how he cooks, but then the kitchen is a mess. Why you need to complain about those things? I mean, he's cooking, that's pretty much like pretty messy, amazing. So just always make them feel really special and really important, and just shout as loud as you can to say positive things, because that way their brain is really going to receive any message, instead of just think like, oh, she's going to complain about something. And the third point that is really important is to influence with questions. So instead of calling this guy or girl and saying like, you should stop doing this, you should maybe ask if she would like to do something different, or what sort of things make her or him happy. So you really narrow their possibilities. So if you want to go for a movie, for example, then you lead them to the idea. So they believe like, oh, I'm so smart because I had this idea of taking her to the movies, but you had the idea before. You just let them believe that they came up with this idea. So they feel super happy, and you say lots of positive things, like, oh my God, you're so amazing, oh, I never thought about it. But yeah, you had that plan before. And because you are doing these 3 things as much as you can, so you listen, you understand them, you use the same words, then what you do is that you talk with love to make them feel amazing, and then at the end, you use questions and, well, yeah, you pretty much influence them. So it's something really simple that you can use in your life every single day. It's not about manipulation, it's not like a dark thing to do to other people. It's really showing them that they are really important, and you might completely forget all these 3 points, but if you are going to remember something from this talk, is every time we have like like a mix of thoughts in our brains. Some are positive, some are negatives, but I really, really want to encourage you to just shout and be really positive and say to everyone, the first person that you met outside, say something positive, or someone that is in your house or in your office. Just find something positive to tell them. And if you are having a rough day, or I don't know, the weather sucks or something, just close your mouth. And just that simple thing of being more positive and not complaining that much is completely going to transform your life, because people are going to really love to be by your side. And that's my speech. So yeah, feedback.
I could see that you were very passionate about what you were talking, and you were very open. So you weren't trying to protect yourself with your hands, you were very open with everything that you said. I like the fact that even for being your age later, you decided to break the rules and whatever the hell you are. So I'm alright with that, because I read my Bible sometimes. But yeah, the one thing that I would have loved to listen and to have examples of what you were explaining, because actually you referred to it at the end. At the end you said it's no manipulation, but because people didn't have, I suppose you love the book How to Impress and Influence People.
Yeah, that's what
And that's how he does it. With examples, you make people realize that first is something that they do every day, influencing people, without having a dark side to it, as you said. And second is the fact that you make people realize how well they feel when people do this, or how can you do it in your everyday life when you do that. So something that is concept becomes more of a reality if you give us examples. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you.